Hey everybody, it's Danny, and today I have a kind of a different kind of video, sort of, kind of, not really, but kind of. Basically, as you guys know, I have a lot of makeup. Well, okay, not compared to some people. To some of the people I watch, I have not a lot of makeup at all. But I do have, a bit of makeup. I don't wear makeup all the time. But I've been wanting to change that. Like, I keep saying, I'm going to start wearing makeup more often. I'm going to make myself do it. And I try, but then I sit down to do my makeup and then, like, I get overwhelmed because I have a lot of palettes. Um, Again, not compared to some people, but I have quite a few palettes because I don't really do other stuff makeup wise. When I do my makeup, I don't wear, or okay, very rarely do I wear foundation, but I don't do contour, I don't do blush, I don't do highlight. I do eye makeup and I do lipstick and then maybe like a BB cream or CC cream or a light, something like that on the face. But not all the time. I usually don't. So I thought a way to kind of help myself is, I know some people will do like project pans. They'll be like, I've had this forever. So I'm challenging myself to, you know, really only use like, these things until they're done. I don't know if I'm going to go quite that far with it, but I am going to challenge myself to try to help me get out of my comfort zone a little bit. And also that I feel this would help me challenge myself to use colors and palettes that I wouldn't normally use. Like, because I always have in a palette, there's always, whenever I have a palette, I'll look at it and I'll be like, oh, okay, I'll use the majority of these colors, but there's always like one or two colors I'm like, I'm not really going to use those because those aren't my kind of colors, you know. But I justify buying the palette because I'm like, well, I'll use the other ones. So as a way to kind of like challenge myself to, try to use more of the colors in a palette, and also, and this also I think will help me use up some of my makeup, but and also help me also decide which palettes I actually need. Because if I'm like, yeah, I love this color scheme, but you know what? I've never actually used this palette, and then I use it, and I'm like, you know what? I really don't like it. But I've only used it a couple of times. Well, then I can gift it or maybe sanitize it and resell it, that kind of thing. So I've decided for the first palette in this little series of me challenging myself, I'm actually going to use the Star Ranch palette by Jeffree Star. I have filmed a video on this one before, and I've used it as a companion palette in a recent video, actually, which is kind of what gave me the idea, because I was using the Jeffree Star Ice Crusher palette, and because that's a highlighter palette, but I was using it as eyeshadow because that's why I bought it. That's what I bought it for. I obviously needed like some mattes from somewhere else, and I decided to use this palette because I really like I used Yak Farm because that's like my favorite matte out of like, it's just the perfect color for me. Now, I decided to start with this one because I actually have two Star Ranch palettes. So I figured I'd start off with this one. So that way, if I decided that I absolutely loved it, well, and I used like the absolute hell out of it, then I have another one to replace it with. Or if I decide, I like this enough to keep the one I've been using, but I don't think I'm actually going to use the other one I have, then I can like sell it or give it away. So this is the palette. Again, nice close up. And ever since I've always said at least these two blues I probably won't use too much, but I'm gonna like I said, I'm gonna do this to kind of help me make me use other colors and do other stuff, and you know what I mean, like actually see. And what I'm gonna do is essentially, the whole challenge of this is not necessarily be like, oh, I'm gonna give myself basically I'm going to give myself a time frame, and this is going to be the only palette that I use. Every time I film a video, makeup look. Standalone looks, just this palette, obviously this palette. Now, of course, there might be an odd video in there where it will be a makeup look where I'm like actually just reviewing a different palette or something. Whatever. That might happen. But for the most part, 99% of my videos are going to have this palette in it. You know, even if it's just me filming a wax review, I will have done my makeup with this palette. I may not mention that. You know, I'm not saying that every single video I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I used the Star Ranch palette and this is the color. No, I'm not gonna do that in like the beginning of all my videos. But it will be on my eyes. And I'm gonna challenge myself to use other colors I wouldn't normally use, like this dark blue shimmer or this kind of bright sky blue matte. Because I mean, like, this bright blue matte and this shimmer would be a good like monochromatic look. I don't wear a lot of blue eyeshadow, but I could do that, you know? This kind of darker brown in the middle, like in the crease, might I don't know, might pair up nicely with this dark blue shimmer. Because, and I say that because I have a look where I use the look I like to do with this palette is I use the light brown, the Yak Farm color in the crease, and then I put, what's this one called? Star Creek, the green shimmer, put that on the lid, you know, and they look good. So maybe the darker one in the dark blue will look good, or Yak Farm in one of these two shimmers, or, you know, even this one, and you know what I mean? Like, it'll give me a chance to really try and use up a lot of these colors and, you know, and try different looks and everything like that. And I don't know for how long I'm actually going to do it for, because I want to do it because I don't want to like make it like a ridiculously long time, because then I'm just going to get tired of it and not wear it at all. But I don't want to make it like too short of a time either, you know, so I'm thinking maybe 3 weeks, not quite a month, because I think a month would be too long, but maybe 3 weeks where I'm gonna and even if I don't film a video, I'm gonna try to make myself wear this palette, even if I'm not filming or doing anything and I'm just sitting at home. I'm gonna play with the palette, you know, and see what works and what doesn't. And, you know, I will film standalone videos where I talk about just this palette, where I'm like, oh yeah, especially when I do use the colors that I don't normally use or I'm not as comfortable with. Those will, when I do use those colors, those will probably be standalone type videos so I can show you guys what I did, and then we can just see together if it actually worked out or looks good, or if it looks like trash, you know? And if it does, and if it is a fail, then we can have a nice little laugh together. And if it looks good, we can be pleasantly surprised together, you know? And then, like I said, I do actually have a couple of wax review videos in the works. I haven't filmed them yet, but, you know, so I'll have my makeup done for those, you know, stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? I'm going to keep it up. So, yeah. So be on the lookout for any more videos featuring this palette, especially if this is a palette that like maybe has interested you in the past and you want to see like how it performs, or, you know, if you're not very, you know, talented in the makeup like I am, because I am not talented at all in the makeup, and if you're in the same boat and you're just very, very simple looks, this could be for you, because I usually only use one matte and one shimmer. Sometimes I'll get fancy and I'll use 2 mattes and a shimmer, like where I'll do like the crease and then the outer corner in a different color, and then I'll do like the inner corner lid area and a shimmer, you know what I mean? And then sometimes I'll put like an inner corner highlight. So sometimes the most shadows I use is like 4, but I usually only use 2, because it's usually a matte and a shimmer, and that's it. And it's just a matte in the crease and a shimmer on the lid, and then I'm done. I don't even do top eyeliner Not really anyway. So yeah. So I hope this video wasn't too confusing or weird. And I just, like I said, I thought this would be a good way to kind of start off and use what I have. And then also, like I said, I have some, palettes that I've had forever that I've only ever shown on here after I hauled it and swatched. I haven't even used them on my face yet, or if I have, I've only used them once. And I thought this would be a good way for me to really get into it. And like I said, I am starting with this one, because I have two. And this way, if I decide, oh, I don't really want both of them, I don't see myself really using this one too much, then I can indeed get rid of the other one and just have this one. And then also, this is a mini like 9-pan palette, which I thought I'd start with a smaller palette to be a little less overwhelmed. Because if I started with like one of the big 18-pan palettes or one of the other palettes I have that has like more, because I'm not going to do this with just Jeffree Star palettes. It's going to be with all my palettes. I just have more Jeffree Star palettes than any other palette. You know what I mean? So like, this is going to be, if I used a bigger palette, it would be more overwhelming. So I figured a nice small one to start out with. And this one's pretty safe, so we'll start off with this one. All right, so that is my video. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any suggestions about colors I could do, looks I could do, tips, pointers, tricks, anything like that, feel free to leave them in the comments. But yeah, I'll talk to everyone later, and be on the lookout for my Star Ranch videos. All right, bye.